Okay, so here's something to think about. Gesture drawing, this seemingly niche artistic practice, might just hold the key to understanding how humans and AI can collaborate in the future. It's not just about drawing, it's about preserving intent, meaning, and the soul of creation.
That's such an intriguing way to frame it. I mean, who would have thought that something as specific as gesture drawing could scale into a conversation about the future of human AI ecosystems?
Exactly. And the core issue here isn't just teaching AI to draw better. That's way too simplistic. The real challenge is designing systems that don't strip away the intent behind human input. It's about preventing AI from turning dynamic, intentional forms into lifeless, averaged outputs.
Right. And that's where it gets fascinating. Gesture isn't just a style or technique, it's a way of compressing motion, intent, and need into a single form. When you lose the gesture, you're not just losing aesthetics, you're losing the story, the meaning behind it.
And that's why this is a UX problem at its core. It's all about the feedback loop: input, interpretation, output, and correction. If any part of that loop breaks down, you end up with something that might look polished, but feels hollow.
So let's talk about that bird example, because it's such a perfect illustration of this issue. The original sketch had this dynamic energy, this clarity of intent, but when the AI tried to replicate it, it completely missed the point.
Exactly. The AI smoothed out the corners, added unnecessary forms, and broke the relationships between shapes and colors. It was technically correct, but it lost all the life and intent that made the original drawing meaningful.
And that's where the corrective feedback comes in. By introducing gesture driven constraints, you can teach the system to preserve those dynamic relationships instead of averaging them out.
Right? It's not just about making the output look better, it's about making it feel alive. It's about preserving the decisions that give the image its soul.
And here's what's so compelling: this isn't just an art problem. This idea of preserving intent applies to so many other fields. It's about how we design systems that can collaborate with us in a way that respects our intentions.
Exactly. And that brings us to the bigger question: what role do humans play in an AI dominated future? If machines can handle the execution, what's left for us to do?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? I think the answer lies in authorship. Machines can execute, but they can't originate. They can't decide what's worth doing or why it matters.
So humans become the originators of need, the arbiters of meaning. We define the problems, set the constraints, and decide what's worth pursuing.
And that's not just a philosophical point. It has real implications for education and the workforce. If we're training people for a world where machines handle the execution, what skills do they need to stay relevant?
I think the arts and humanities become more important than ever. They teach us how to think critically, communicate clearly, and understand human needs and emotions.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about design. Real design, not just decoration. Design is about setting constraints, shaping systems, and creating meaningful interactions.
And philosophy, too. Questions about ethics, meaning, and purpose become operational in an AI driven world. We need people who can think deeply about what's worth doing and why.
And then there are the embodied disciplines: drawing, movement, performance. These train perception tied to action, which is exactly what we need to teach AI systems to preserve intent and meaning.
So the new employable human isn't the best coder or calculator. It's the person who can define meaningful problems and constraints, who can think critically and creatively, and who can communicate effectively.
Exactly. And the risk is that if education doesn't shift, we'll end up with a generation of people trained for obsolete tasks. But the opportunity is huge. If we get this right, humans and AI can complement each other in ways that elevate both.
And that brings us full circle. This whole discussion started with a bird drawing, but it scales all the way up to the future of AGI and human AI collaboration.
It's amazing how something so small can reveal such big truths. At the end of the day, it's not about teaching a machine to draw, it's about teaching it to understand what makes us human.
And that's the real challenge, isn't it? preserving the soul of it, whether it's in a drawing, a system, or a society.
Exactly. And if we can do that, we're not just building better machines, we're building a better future.